So we'll have Dylan speak first, then Paul, and then we'll have Jay talk about these two guys and also any questions you might have in general about this week in the tournament. So we'll start with Dylan Cruz. So Dylan will come have a seat, and you guys are welcome to asking questions. All right, man. You're kind of in the whole frame.
Okay, gotcha. Sweet.
Okay, guys, ready when y'all are.
Yeah, Dylan, this is Ron Higgins with Tiger Details. Congratulations on your Player of the Year. Just talk about, I guess, you've had a great year the past couple of weeks. You finally hit a slump, which is for if the type of year you had was unbelievable anyway. Can you talk about, you seem to fight out of it and where you are now mentally after just a great year?
Yeah, just, I'm just trying to stay present every single day, really, and trust in my process. In the cages, in the weight room, in the training room, each and every day, really, it is what it is. I look up at the board, I'm still doing pretty well. But, yeah, just a little hiccup in the road. And like I said, just trying to stay present every day and trust in my process.
Yeah, hey Dylan. We talked to Coach Johnson last week, and he had mentioned there were some things offensively you guys really wanted to correct, I guess, heading into the Georgia series. Can you talk about just offensively where you guys stand as a whole, I guess, heading here into the postseason stretch, just how you guys feel like you've corrected some of the things that maybe he wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's really important to, I guess, control the line of scrimmage in baseball, which is a strike zone. You control that, you tend to have good things happen for our team. And, I think we did well the first 2 days. And then I think the third, we kind of got out of our plan a little bit and, unfortunately lost that game. But, I think overall, if we just, I think we did good. But, if we keep doing that in the future, it should be good. And, I think it'll work in our favor here in the future.
Dylan, you guys have played at such a high level for so long and had so many expectations, I guess, upon you. How are you guys mentally? It's been a long season, and now it's the postseason. I guess, what is your approach mentally, and kind of how do you approach it?
Yeah, we're all mentally sharp right now, to be honest. We know there's a lot of expectations for us, and we're trusting the guy next to us every day. I think this isn't new for us. It's always been a program of excellence and expectations, but we're not really listening to anything outside of the locker room, and just trusting the guy next to us.
Good afternoon, Dylan. Almost all mock drafts have you going 102. The Nationals own the second overall pick in this year's draft. What are your thoughts on Washington? And would you like to be drafted by the Nats? If so, what makes the Nationals so appealing? Thanks.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be awesome. I guess whatever happens. I have no control over that. I have control over my process each and every day, and being present every single day. But if that were to happen, if that were to be where I end up in the future, I think that'd be awesome. I think it's a great organization, and like I said, whatever happens, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey Dylan, I spoke with your hitting coach last week, Josh Montero, and I was just sort of curious what's your sort of relationship with him, and what role has he had in your development over the last few years, especially?
Yeah, Josh, he's a great guy. He's been with me for a few years now, and had a huge and tremendous impact on my career so far. He's like I don't know, he'll go up there and he throw 85 from like 30 feet away. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty special. It helps out a lot too. He'll mix in a lot of off speeds and get me game ready every day. So yeah, he had a tremendous impact on my career. He's helped me out a lot with my approach and mental approach, really. So yeah, I'm very thankful to have him on my side.
Then what are your thoughts on Hoover playing in that tournament style? Just the week ahead for you guys is pretty locked up with regionals, so you don't have to play for anything, I guess, like last year. To give you a different approach.
Yeah, we're going in here trying to win this game, win this tournament. Honestly, we're going straight out of the gate. We're looking, we're all, just really wanting to win this tournament. Fulfill some expectations, and this is definitely, I think I've only played 4 total games here, but it's something that I've definitely wanted to do and go far in, and I want to win this tournament for sure, and I think everybody else does.
As far as the ballpark, both as a center fielder and hitter, though, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a bigger ballpark than a lot of other fields, so I don't think really our approach changes. I think, like I said, if we just commit to controlling the strike zone from both sides, I think good things will happen for this team.
Yeah, hey Dylan, a couple late season kind of emergences for you guys offensively have been Hayden Travinsky and Josh Pearson. Both those guys had pretty big weekends against Georgia. Having guys like that step up late in the season that maybe haven't been relied on throughout the whole season. Just talk about how important that is for you guys heading into the postseason. Yeah,
they've stepped up tremendously for this team. I think that's what's special about this team is you can put anybody in at any moment. I think they're going to step up and produce. So yeah, hats off to them, man. They really had a great couple weekends and stepped up in some big situations.
Hey Dylan, I know Alex Bredman was someone you kind of looked up to a little bit. I'm curious what kind of impact he's had for you, if he's given you any, good pieces of advice.
Yeah, I talk to him once in a while. Yeah, he's giving me some great advice, just really learn how to soak in each and every day. I'm never gonna, have another opportunity, another, team like this ever in my life. So he really taught me how to, soak in every day, be where my feet are, and just enjoy every moment that I can. He's been in the same shoes as me, so that's definitely somebody that I'd listen to more. So.
And then secondly, obviously you and Paul both got honored with the SEC honors. I'm just curious how you've seen him develop most, maybe even as a leader on this team, especially with the pitching staff.
Sorry, who was that again?
With Skenes.
Oh, Skenes, yeah. He's one of those guys that you're gonna get, what you're gonna get out of him each and every day. The way he prepares himself, the way he goes about himself. Just a true leader on this team, and he's getting the younger guys and the other guys on board, and they're listening and they're watching how he prepares and how he does his thing, going out and preparing for his starts and his approaches to the game.
Thank you.
How tough is it for you to deal with these pitchers that just are looking to pitch around you?
Yeah, it's something I've worked on for sure. It's something that I had to understand really, and I'm still not perfect at it either. So I'm still learning, and I think that's what the beauty of the game is. So yeah, I'm working on it each and every day, and just learning how to hit in deeper counts and be a better 2-strike hitter. Learning how to walk more. So yeah, it's something that I've had to learn and understand and approach these future at bats and these past at bats.
And secondary question, kind of to the draft, have you ever been to Washington, D.C.?
I've never been there. No, that would be cool though. Like I said, whatever happens. So, yeah, I think that'd be a really, really cool place to be.
Do you follow the social media, the people who looking for you to come to their city?
No, I don't. But some people have, reached out and said some things here and there. But I don't really follow them, to be honest.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. Hey Dylan, I this team has been through a lot of injuries throughout the season. How would you say that this team has overcome those injuries, and who have you seen step up in the face of these injuries?
Yeah, it's not something that we, kept secret for sure. It's, we've had a lot of unfortunate injuries on this team. So, but like I said, I think that's what the beauty of this team is, just having guys like Pearson and Travinsky, guys in the bullpen, really learning how to step up and be in certain situations that they're not really used to. They've, anybody, we trust anybody on this locker room, and they're prepared and mentally ready to go in at any moment.
And just to follow up, I mean, obviously you more face these guys in like the fall, but Griffin Herring, Gavin Guidry, some of the guys that are really shining out of the bullpen right now, what can you say about them and how they've stepped into their roles?
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job going in these situations. They look like they're not freshmen out there, really. They look like they're, upper class guys and had some experience underneath their belts. So hats off to them. They've really stepped up for this team in the bullpen for sure.
Okay, I have two questions, Dylan. First is, can you just comment on winning player of the year again? I mean, I know something you don't take for granted, but in a league like this with the talent it has, and how do you feel about winning that again? You shared it last year, but this year winning it.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels great. Like it shows that the hard work is definitely paying off. And the people that helped me out get to where I am today, it means just as much to them as it does to me. So, I'm very thankful, very blessed. And I'm just trying to soak in each and every day, really. And, looking back, I think this is something I'm definitely going to, think about and just have a great memory, of all these moments out here, and just, I'm very thankful for it.
And secondly, this is your third go around with this team going in the postseason. How is this team? I guess is this team the team that's been the best equipped to go the furthest in a playoff run, the one you're on now, and why?
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure. I think we got a lot of experience underneath on this team. We have a lot of experience on this team, and a lot of guys that can step up at any moment. Really, we've had obviously, we've got pitchers that can go in at any moment. They can start at any moment. They're ready for that. They understand that, and we got guys on the, that's not starting on the bench that could really come in at any moment, any part of the lineup, and have a big hit. So I think that's what's going to take this team to the next level for sure.
Yeah. Just to prove how much we do take you for granted, that was like the second to last question, and you win Player of the Year award, right? Back-to-back years. So congrats on that. Sorry for taking you for granted. We're all going to talk about like the bats needing to carry the bullpen along, right? From a player's perspective, you just talked about having, a full complement of guys, but what is it like to be a guy that's going to be counted on, right? And one of the bats that everybody's going to be looking towards, I guess. How do you look at where this team is right now with some of their flaws and some of their strengths?
Yeah, it's something we have to work around for sure. We trust all the guys in the bullpen. It's something that we've trusted them the whole entire year, and it's something that we hitters have to understand too. Sometimes we got to go out there and score a bunch of runs, and that's it is what it is at the end of the day. But sometimes we're not going to have to really, and they're going to the bullpen and the starters are going to do what they always do. So it's just really we don't really change our approach every day. We kind of just stick to the same approach, and I think if we just control our strike zone and just trust in our process every day, everything kind of just take care of itself.
One of the more underrated announcements today is that you also made the All-SEC defensive team. Beginning of the year, you said you wanted to prove that you could be a center fielder at the next level. Like, do you think you proved that, and do you think that award sort of helps confirm the improvements you've made out there this year?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Based off of history, I think I've definitely proved myself that I could stay there. I want to stay there as long as I can. That's my main goal. But if I have to move to the corner, I will, and I'll be the best corner guy there is out there. So whatever happens, and I'm gonna work to be the best at that position.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Bud. All right, I will bring up Paul. Let me just get this out of the way. Okay, guys, Paul Skenes coming up. Same thing. If you just want to go through the order in the chat, we'll handle the questions that way. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, buddy. Just gotta make sure you're in the whole frame if you can. Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Paul, Ron Higgins, Tiger Details. Congratulations on Pitcher of the Year in SEC. What does that, I guess, mean to you to win that award in this league with all the talent it has in it?
It's obviously really cool accomplishment. That's not the reason that I came to the SEC per se, but it's obviously really cool to accomplish that and have some recognition for what we've accomplished kind of as a team, I think, this year.
Paul, kind of similar question that we had with Dylan. I guess just where do you feel like the team is at right now, heading into the postseason? Obviously, everybody's expecting you to lead the staff. We've seen kind of what's happened over the last 3-4 weeks with the staff. I guess where is everybody at with their heads? As far as
I think we're in a really good spot, especially with this last weekend, going into Georgia and winning the series there. I think we saw some really good stuff out of the lineup, out of the pitching staff, and I think we're in a really good spot going into the postseason.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, this is going to be the first week where you guys really kind of get to dive into the scenario of playing different teams on different days and kind of how you stack up the staff kind of throughout the week. I mean, just for you, what does the week look like in terms of preparing for, I don't know whether you're pitching on Wednesday or if you pitch on Thursday, just talk about your week of preparation now that you guys are off to Hoover.
Yeah, obviously it has to be super dynamic. Has to be some adjustability there as I'm not totally sure when I'm pitching and who I'm pitching against. So I think there'll be a little bit more energy that I put into scouting some of these teams. But I think that the teams that I would pitch against, I've pitched against them before, so I know their lineups pretty well. At least better than a team that I haven't pitched against yet. So I'm gonna have to game plan for myself, I think, and be pretty dynamic with that. But just knowing knowing that we don't know exactly who we're gonna play is kind of tough. But I think that's part of what makes it fun too.
Hi, Paul. Ben from Talk Nats. I asked the same question to your teammate Dylan, but many mock drafts have you landing in Washington. What are your thoughts on Washington, and what would it mean to be drafted by the Nats, a team who has drafted quality starting pitchers over the years?
I haven't thought a whole lot about it. Try not to look at that stuff, and I think as long as I keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing over the next few weeks, everything's kind of just gonna kind of just land how it should.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul. I was just wondering if you could speak on how the staff has really responded to the injuries that have occurred throughout the season. Chase Shores, Garrett Edwards, even Nate Ackenhausen was kind of in and out. Who are the guys that you've really seen step up into new roles or shine during this time, and just what's going on with the staff?
Yeah, I think guys like Thatcher Hurd, Gavin Guidry, Griffin Herring, guys like that, who didn't necessarily know what their roles were going to be before the season. They obviously have to play a bigger role now with some other guys, some other key guys that are out, and they've done a really good job, I think. I still firmly believe that we have the best staff in the SEC, and even without the three guys that have gotten hurt, And so we just have to go out and prove it the next few weeks, which is frankly the weeks that really matter in the season. So what's happened up to this point doesn't really matter. And we just have to have some guys step up like we know they can over the next few weeks. And I think a lot of things are going to go right for the Tigers.
Just to follow up, Gavin Guidry didn't even start like training to pitch until like February. How have you seen him grow throughout this season?
His maturity and his knowledge of his own plan has grown tremendously. I don't even know if he recognizes it, but I see it. I talk with him pretty much every day about it. His ability to pitch, to locate his slider, and then he throws his changeup rarely, but it's a very good pitch. And so I think more than anything, I'm excited to see where he's going to be next year. But his knowledge for himself and his plan and his ability to execute it's just increased tremendously throughout the season.
Yeah, Paul, did this year go, I guess, in your mind as planned to be just a pitcher, to develop as just a pitcher, the first time in your career that you didn't have to play 2 or 3 positions? This is what I do. Did it go as in your mind where you thought it was going to go?
No, I don't think you can really have a plan and it stick together as much as you think it should ever. Obviously we had some guys get hurt, so we didn't plan on that. I didn't know that I was going to be not hitting. I didn't know that what my position was going to be. I didn't know that kind of thing, but obviously that stuff kind of revealed itself as the season went on. But I think we figured that out. To be honest, I didn't know exactly what the plan was going to be heading into the season. Other than that, I was starting the first game of the year on Friday. But it's been a cool journey to see and kind of be dynamic with, I think, as the season's gone on.
Has it been tough just to shift into a pitcher mentality, or do you still want to get there and take a swing? And they just like, we don't want you to ever play. You pitch.
Yeah, no, I want to hit for sure, but I want to win more than anything. And I think the risk reward has been pretty clear that the risk of going in on a midweek and taking an at bat against a guy that could hit me in the hand or something like that, it's just not worth it. So that was kind of our mindset this year, and that I think only increased as our season went on. I think I miss hitting. Obviously, I miss catching a lot too. But it's definitely made it easier to develop as a pitcher.
I got a couple for you. How fired up are you about your mustache?
Yeah, it's sweet. The hammer stoush
Finally came in. Looks good. I'm assuming you didn't get to wear that at the academy. So is this the first time you got to rock it? Yeah,
no, this is I feel like it's college baseball. You can do whatever you want with your hair, your facial hair, anything like that. So it's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna keep it.
Might as well. What do you think about the ballpark there in Hoover? Obviously, it plays big depending on the time of day and kind of wind condition.
I have no idea. I haven't been there. I've heard it plays big. I've heard the mound's tall, but that's all I know about Hoover.
And just to be on the stage, kind of have all those teams there at one time, just the excitement level for a guy like you that wants to be against the best. Now you got your chance.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think the teams that I'll probably pitch against are teams that I've played before, that I pitched against before. So being able to go out with maybe a different plan, maybe the same plan, who knows, and execute that against a team that I've pitched against before, it's going to be really cool.
The strikeout numbers, obviously you're getting close. When you look at what Ben accomplished in that one season, just does it kind of blow your mind? And what are your thoughts now that you've climbed number 2 for LSU all time?
Not a whole lot. Just go out and keep executing. I don't think there's anything else to do. I think it'll all take care of itself as long as I keep doing that. I don't know where I'm at right now. I don't know where Ben is, but I think as long as I go out and keep executing with the time that I have left, it'll all take care of itself.
Sorry, he just said never mind. I have a quick question. You have a tradition of wearing a teammate's face on your shirt when you come to the ballpark. Why did that tradition start? Can you speak more on that? And what does it mean to you?
It's a pretty cool thing for me. I don't really know. Honestly, it's a little tough to put into words sometimes, but I was like looking online for my teammates' jerseys one day, and I found a Cade Veloso shirt with his face on it, and I just bought it, sat in my room for a few weeks, and I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna wear it to the field and warm up with it. Before my outing, it was a home game, like the fourth weekend of the season. And so I wore it, and Cade saw it, and he was super fired up. So I just decided I was going to wear someone's face on my shirt every week from then on. And so it's cool because you can see the reaction, because that's really what it's all about. It's just about the camaraderie in the team. And if you can make someone else's day, and I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Where do you get the shirts?
One of our managers' moms actually has a business, I think. She just presses them on. So it's actually really, really easy, really convenient for me.
Are they flattering pictures, or are they like?
It depends.
And Paul, does stuff like that make it easier just to kind of fit into a new group when you're adjusting to a new place?
I think that's kind of an indication of the culture as a whole, rather than because if it's a bunch of guys that I don't know, I wouldn't do that. Like the stuff that we did in the fall and in the winter to grow as a team, obviously worked if that's something that's kind of acceptable and part of the culture there. It's like, I think the amount of love and the deepness of our relationships that we have in our locker room is really it's really cool. Something that I had, I think, really well at Air Force, and something that I've been really pleasantly surprised at since I've been here, because I truly love everyone in the locker room, and it's something that I'm blessed to be a part of, and want to keep as long as I can.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most in this year as a pitcher specifically?
I would say my awareness of my own plan. Obviously, I've gotten physically stronger. I'm throwing harder. My stuff's better, but I think my awareness of how to pitch and use my stuff has gotten tremendously better.
Thanks.
Hey, Paul, are your bullpen days Sundays usually?
No. If I'm throwing on a Friday, it's a Tuesday. If I'm throwing on a Thursday, it's a Monday.
Okay. I was just curious because I was just wondering if there was ever a scenario where you had a couple of days off in between and you could throw on one of your bullpen days if need be in the College World Series or anything like that. Okay. Thanks.
I think you're off the hook, dude. Thanks.
All right, good. All right. Good deal.
Awesome.
Thanks. All right, man. Thanks.
Thank
Paul.
you, sir.
Appreciate it, buddy. All right, y'all. We'll wrap up with Jay. I'm gonna go grab him right outside.
Bill, do you know what time they're practicing tomorrow?
In fact, I was about to ask Jay that question, so I'll
Okay.
find out
We can
right
ask him
now.
when he jumps on.
Okay, or y'all can ask him. Practice. Okay, y'all just follow the same.
Jay, can you? Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, just follow the same format. Follow the questions in the chat. That'd be great. Thank you.
What time are you practicing tomorrow, Coach?
We're practicing at 9:30 a.m. at University of Alabama, Birmingham.
What about that? What about that 9:30 start? What is that? I mean, is that a reason why you're practicing so early? It's pretty early baseball.
Yeah, it's just we want to get their bodies in tune with the time we're going to play our first game.
Can you elaborate on that first game being at 9:30 though?
That's where we're scheduled. Fitting 4 games into a day is a challenge when sometimes you deal with rain and TV and all those factors. So didn't really put much thought into it. We'll be there when they tell us to play, and they told us 9:30.
Yeah, Jay, Ron Higgins, Tiger Details. How crucial was it? I just mentally for y'all to win the series this past weekend, just mentally from the mental aspect.
I mean, mentally, we're trying to be solid every game that we play, and we play to win. This is a group of winners, and so they know how to do that. They've done that all year. I think it's a good accomplishment to go 7-2-1 in SEC series, not get swept ever, and they're a confident group. And when you're a confident person and you're a mentally tough person, you don't get distracted by failure the way normal people do.
How beneficial, I guess, are these couple of days alone in a hotel just to exhale? I mean, you planned that, but how beneficial is that after a long regular season, of tough games?
Yeah, I think it's very important. We try to be intentional with everything we do to help the players prepare to have success. And it just didn't make a lot of sense to fly all the way home and then bus 6 hours when we could just drive, 2.5 or 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's a well-deserved 3-day break without a game. I don't know that we've had one of those in a long time throughout the schedule. And, with our team, there's certain key players that have pretty much played every pitch of every inning of every game. I think, Jordan and Dylan have played every game since I've been the coach here. And so for them to be able to rest their bodies and rest their minds a little bit, I think is a good thing.
Hi, Coach. Ben from Talk Nats. Two of your top players are expected to go first and second overall in the draft. What does that mean for the program and the coaching staff in general?
Means a lot. I mean, obviously we want to win championships and continue on the great tradition of LSU, but the only way I know how to do that is to have great players, and great players today are attracted to development and developing them, who can develop them to be major league players. And there won't be a player that we recruit, as long as I'm the coach here, where their ultimate goal isn't to play Major League Baseball someday. And so when you're talking about two players that in all likelihood are going to be drafted first and second, I think that shows a lot of development. I mean, Dylan is a better player today than he was as a freshman. Paul came out of the transfer portal and chose us over any school in the country because he believed he could develop to be the best that he could be. And in my opinion, you're looking at the best position player in college baseball, the most prepared position player to go have success in professional baseball with Dylan. And you're looking at the best pitcher and the most prepared pitcher to have success in professional baseball. And both of those guys are calling LSU home. So it's a really big deal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, just kind of the unique setup with these conference tournaments. Does it help you at all just for regional weekend in terms of how you kind of set up pitching staffs and whatnot, and of how, you kind of approach things where you're playing a team a different day, and then that's going to be kind of the same structure for regional, next weekend? Does that kind of correlate at all?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, the difference is you're not going to play any teams from the Southeastern Conference next weekend. So maybe the benefit we have this week is, we're going to see a team in the first game that we've played already, because we did play South Carolina and Georgia. And I think we've actually played all the teams on our side of the bracket. So, next weekend you're playing teams from outside of the league that we probably haven't seen. Maybe we have when all the dust settles. But, playoff baseball, it's about executing the game in the right way on the game that's in front of you, and then moving on to the next one. And so it's a good exercise in that. One of the reasons I like to play a preseason tournament is for that very reason, because the NCAA tournament, at least the first round and in the Omaha round, you're not playing the same team 3 days in a row. You're playing a different team each day. So, obviously getting that experience in Round Rock will be helpful. We played a tournament weekend non-conference at Alex Box, which that's what we'll be doing next week. And then obviously this SEC tournament. And I think all those things can be helpful as we move forward.
What's the update on Brady Neal, if anything?
Yeah, he took batting practice. Saturday prior to the game. Caught some bullpens, stood in on some bullpens. Still not 100%, but he's doing more than he was.
I don't know you well enough to know. I'm going to assume that you're going to want to win all of them. Your approach to the tournament, any different? Do you push the guys any less hard because you know it's not the end of your season? You got more to play for.
It's a unique situation. This team's done such a good job with the regular season schedule. Like, we've played our way to where we want to be and playing postseason baseball at home. And so that's ultimately, I want these guys to get to Omaha. I want them to experience Omaha. And so the tournament that's going to decide that, we've done what we need to do, in regards to that. With that being said, we don't cancel games that we schedule, for any reason. We've talked about that before. And if you put the Tiger uniform on, whether it's the purple, the gold, or pinstripe or white or gray jersey, there's an expectation that we're competing to win. Like I said, these guys are winners and we play to win. I'll be the one that'll make the decisions, maybe what's in the best interest of next week. But, Dylan Cruz is going to step in the box and you're going to compete, to beat that pitcher's tail, and whoever we put on a mound at whatever time, they're going to try to execute. And, we're excited to be here. I think it's one of the best events in all of amateur baseball. And so there's a little bit of energy that comes along with it. So the players just need to go play and compete, and I'll handle those, maybe long-term or next week type decisions as they're relative to this.
You mentioned development specifically with Dylan and Paul, with those two guys winning the awards the day that they did. What kind of singular year development did you see in each?
Yeah, I think in Dylan, I've mentioned this before. He's a special player, and he's an even better human being. And he was in a unique situation this year, coming back as the SEC Player of the Year, coming back as the guy that was probably one of the best players in the country last year. Everybody on the field knows that. And so for his self-discipline to stay within his plan, not try to do too much. The guy's just, all he's done is taken, Hall of Fame caliber at bats all season long. And I don't think many people in his situation could do that. And so we always knew how great he was. I think he put the stamp on that this year, because to be this consistent at this level in this league over his entire career, you don't see that hardly ever. And I think somebody mentioned, I don't know if it's true, that he's the first two-time Player of the Year in the league, or back-to-back years or something like that. That speaks for itself. And I believe he's the best player in the country. But just how he's handled himself in the midst of everybody knowing he's the best player in the country has served him well, and that will serve him well when he goes to the next level. He's also made himself a great center fielder. He's not a guy that needs to be moved to the corner of the outfield. He could play center field at the highest level. As far as Paul, it's remarkable. I think, him just focusing on pitching and not being a two-way player has really helped him in a lot of ways, helped him keep his strength in his legs and his body, limit the amount of rotations. It's helped him recover better. But he and Coach Wes Johnson really went to work on his slider, and that's a dominating pitch. It's one of the best pitches I've ever seen any college pitcher throw. And you're pairing that with a fastball that gained velocity and a changeup, and the person, we knew what we were getting. And, he was all that and a heck of a lot more too. So very grateful for those guys. I think it was an easy decision for SEC coaches of who the best player and who the best pitcher in this league were.
Yeah, Jay, to follow up on that, was it any surprise that the two guys on your team that you've often said have the most professional approach from day to day won those awards?
Not at all. I think they're special players. They have unique baseball talent that two professional teams will pay a lot of money for, as they should. And then you get to know the human being part of it. And very rarely does that come along, in a coaching career. I've seen it maybe in two other players I've ever coached outside of those guys. And those guys are pretty special and doing some really great things in Major League Baseball right now. But they have the, whatever you want to call it, the it factor, the intangibles, the character, it matches their baseball ability. And think about what I just said, because their baseball ability is exceptional.
Yeah. Hey, coach, just, I'm not sure, just going back on your history, how many players you've had that have emerged late in the season, but I mean, Hayden Travinsky, Josh Pearson, those are a couple of guys that, I mean, certainly seem like can be game changers for you guys offensively down the stretch here. Just the impact that those two guys have a chance to make here on your run down the stretch.
Yeah, they have a chance to make a tremendous impact. And it's not surprising on the inside because we're with them every day. I mean, when you look at Josh, I mean, he had an exceptional season last year as a freshman, which is really hard to do in this league. And that showed his capabilities, potential, maturity, all of those types of things. And, you know, we tend to play winning baseball when he's in there. I like when he's in the lineup. And this is just a hard team to get on the field on, as we have a lot of guys that I feel that way about. But his attitude and work ethic and confidence in himself, team first attitude has never wavered. And so when we've put him in, he's always been ready. And he's a guy that has performed far better than his stat line suggests this year. And so we know he can make a positive contribution. With Hayden, the ability's always been there. I mean, frankly, he just has not been healthy for a long stretch since I've been the coach here. And tough program right now as a position player. If you're down, somebody else can do the job on this team. And so that's all that really happened. You know, I mean, I was fully ready for him to be the opening day starter, you know, at catcher or at DH, given his talent. He just needed to get healthy. And again, I have to give Hayden really high marks for staying engaged as he had to work his way back to getting healthy, work his way into opportunities. And as he got those in pinch hit opportunities, he took advantage of them. We could see it. You know, sometimes, you know, when you have a high end talent player on your roster and you give him a chance, it can really give you a shot in the arm. And that's what he's done. And he's taken really, really good at bats. And, you know, he can affect the game in ways that not everybody can. And that's a really good thing for us right now and moving forward.
Of course, this team has dealt with some injuries on the pitching side, but so Arkansas, Vanderbilt, South Carolina have all dealt with injuries. Do you think in a way like college baseball is like kind of the like battle of like health and depth? And, you know, how do you think has stepped up during this time from the staff?
Yeah, I think depth is important. We definitely have that because, you know, we wouldn't have been able to withstand and win 42 games and be in position to be a national seed if we didn't have it. So it's obviously important. And, you know, it's hard to build. It's really hard to build with, you know, Major League Baseball draft, injuries, evaluations, you know, the competitiveness in recruiting. And thankfully we were able to have that this year with the injuries. You know, so that's important. You know, as far as what's happened or going on at other programs, I can't really speak to.
Hi, Coach. One more draft-related question. College coaches have gone on record comparing Steven Strasburg to Paul Skenes, both prospects, similar metrics. What do you think about those comparisons, and how can you tell your players to not focus on the outside noise and all the conversations about them?
You know, the first one, I mean, nobody knows how good a college pitcher Steven Strasburg was than me. We lost to him a lot. I mean, over 3 years when I was at the University of San Diego. I remember one game in particularly in 2009, struck us out 18 times. He threw like 120 pitches and he threw a slider like 87 pitches of the 120. I mean, it was just remarkable. And it was so firm that it looked like a fastball and it was just impossible to lay off of. And we were like a bat or two from getting him out of the game, and he just buckled down, and then we couldn't do anything going forward. And for me, he is the best college pitcher I've ever seen, you know, until I saw Paul do what Paul did this year. So I think it's probably the most accurate comparison you could make in regards to that. As far as draft noise and all of that, like, I mean, you got a chance, I think, to talk to both those guys today, and when they speak, they're just totally about the right things. They know what's ahead of them. They got a great life and a great career ahead of them. And, you know, their gift or their ability, one of their gifts or abilities is they're right here, right now. And, you know, not just soaking this in, taking it in, but they know that's how they're at their best and how they can impact their team and their teammates. And that's all I've seen from them. And it's why they've performed, you know, all year the way that they have. And, I don't anticipate that changing, just knowing those guys as well as I do.
You obviously knew Dylan would be able to kind of handle the attention that would come with him this year. How curious were you to see how Skenes would handle kind of the extra eyes on him and just now obviously vaulting up to a potential top 2 pick?
Yeah, I had zero concerns, and it was why he was the priority for us in recruiting. And as soon as he went in the portal, because there's talent all over college baseball. There's talent all over the SEC. Getting talent with this mindset, it doesn't come along very often. And, you know, the best way I can describe Paul is there's not a player in the country that has more positively impacted a team or a program over the last 8 or 9 months than Paul. You know, with obviously the on the field contributions, you can't do any better than that. And leadership, I mean, he's the unquestioned leader of our team. And so you think about what that takes from a person standpoint to be able to make that type of impact. It's not out there. And so knowing that's what he was made up of, you know, spent my entire summer making sure that we did everything we could, that LSU was the place he was going to get to make that impact. And it's been remarkable of what he's been able to do.
Did that happen quickly, or was that just sort of a season-long thing where kind of slowly it starts to manifest?
Yeah, and I think you get the same person every day with the highest level of character. And, you know, the special thing about guys like that is they're so dialed into what they need to do to be the best or be successful that everybody around them gets positively affected. And so when they saw him operate the way that he does, and you have another player like Dylan that operates the way that he does, it's almost like they created this standard of nobody wants to let those two down. And then now all of a sudden, nobody wants to let anybody down. And, you know, it's one of the best player leadership groups I've had. And it starts with them, and it's of them holding the bar so high and then everybody rising up to that.
Hey, coach, any idea who's starting on Wednesday, or are you just going to wait until?
Yeah, we won't announce till Wednesday because we don't know who we're playing, and you know we're not going to know who's starting for the other team.
Is that kind of hard to plan around, or is it just having the familiarity of those two teams just makes?
Yeah, playoff baseball. You know, we make the best assessment we can based on who they pitch on Tuesday, and you know, we do have a benefit that we have played both South Carolina and Georgia. Obviously just played Georgia. Pretty good idea what they'll do. You know, they're starting Jaden Woods tomorrow, who's coming off an injury. So I'm sure we'll see one of the guys that we saw last weekend. And, you know, South Carolina, I haven't seen who they've decided to start yet. But we'll go to work on that after the game on Tuesday when we know who we're playing.
Anything you do this week affect what you do next week?
As far as
pitching goes?
It's probably the other way around, if that makes sense. You know, next week, the thoughts into next week, you know, play a part in how we go about doing what we're going to do here. Because, you know, I would love to win this tournament. I think it's, again, one of the best events in amateur baseball, but we need to position ourselves well for next weekend.
Anyone else? Right, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, coach.
All right, thank you all. I'll send this recording out once it's finished processing. I'll send it out via email. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks for doing it, Bill.
You're welcome.